reflection and speaking with spirit and going into this contemplative place. And as I'm going into this place, I begin to feel this deep, deep sadness begin to come up. Like this really deep sorrow and this feeling of total alienation as I'm going into this. And I can feel these emotions begin to come up, and I'm like, oh God, this is not what I came here to experience. I don't want to come here and feel depressed, and I don't want to come here and have a pity party. I don't know where this is coming from. This is coming in totally out of the blue. I don't want to feel this. So I start focusing on, I'm going to change my thoughts and focus on things that make me feel good so I can change my state of being. So I start thinking about things that make me happy. I start thinking about this art piece that I'm working on, this new relationship that I'm exploring, getting ready for this talk right here, and possible things I'm going to do. And it works. And for about 2 minutes, I start to feel better. And then after about 2 minutes, this sadness comes in with even more intensity than it did before, like a child that is screaming to get my attention. So I'm like, okay, let me sit with this emotion and see what this actually is, because obviously this pain is coming up for a reason. So I find a bench and I start to feel in to these emotions, this sorrow that's coming up. And as I start to feel into it, I begin to feel this incredibly deep sense of alienation. Like total isolation, being completely cut off from myself, from the world around me, from God, and just feeling totally lost. And then with that, I begin to feel this feeling of powerlessness, a feeling totally stuck in my life, feeling stuck in a rut. I begin to feel lost. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm just going to be with this. And so I begin to sink into these emotions. And as I begin to feel this incredibly deep sense of alienation, this thought comes over me. If I'm feeling this emotion right now, then I guarantee that there are billions of other people that have walked this planet that have felt the exact same way that I am feeling right now. And so I start to think about those people. And then it catalyzes me into a place of prayer, where I begin to pray for every single person that has ever felt the exact feelings that I was feeling right there in that moment. And so I go into prayer, and I say, for all of those that have ever felt alienated, that have ever felt lost in their life, that feel stuck, that don't know what they're doing, that don't know what direction to move into, that feel total despair and hopelessness, I want you to know that you are not alone. In this moment, right now, given everything that I am feeling, is a living testament to the fact that you are not alone in what you are going through. And we are moving through this process together, and I want you to know how loved and supported you actually are. And for all of those that have ever felt depressed, that feel like giving up on life, I want you to know that you are not alone. And in this moment, I am feeling exactly what you are feeling. And so this moment is a living testament to the fact that you are not going through this process alone, and that I am right here with you, feeling this in my own heart. And I want you to know how loved and accepted you actually are. And so I began to hold space for myself as if I was holding space for every other person that has ever felt the way that I was feeling right there in that moment. And then the thought came over me, maybe these emotions that I'm feeling right now, maybe they don't actually have anything to do with me, but maybe they're actually teaching me at the end of the day how to pray for, how to speak to, and how to hold space for every single person that has ever felt the way that I am feeling right now. And so I began to hold space for myself, as if I was holding space for humanity, for the humanity that was suffering. And the reason why this is significant, why it's important for us to hold space in this way, is because the relationship that we have with ourselves is the point of origin for the relationship that we have with life. In other words, what you tell yourself when no one else is around, when no one else is looking, is that which sets the vibrational default for every other relationship that is made manifest in your experience.
Can you say that one more time?
What did I just say?
Holding space
For yourself.
Point of origin.
Oh yeah, that's right. The relationship that you have with yourself is the point of origin for every other relationship that you will have in your life. So in other words, what you say to yourself when no one else is around sets the vibrational default for every other relationship that is made manifest in your experience. And I mean, if you think about it, someone that treats themselves like shit, someone that is constantly talking down to themselves, how do you think they're going to treat people in their life? You know? Or what kind of relationships do you think they're going to attract into their life? That sets the vibrational default, as opposed to someone that speaks lovingly to themselves.
It's all a sacred mirror.
It's all a sacred mirror, exactly. And so this becomes obvious when you look at it in that way. Now, when you take a step back and you look at this on a collective level, and you see war, you see all these atrocities, you see poverty, you see abuse, you see people dumping tons of garbage into the ocean, you know, all these things on a global level, what that does is that provides us with a window to what most people, most individuals on this planet, just gives us a window into the way that they are speaking to themselves when no one else is around. That gives us insight into the innermost workings of how most people are talking to themselves. So how do we heal this? I pose the question, what do you tell yourself when no one else is around? How do you speak to yourself? Because that right there, it's in that space where the true spiritual and psychological growth actually lies. And it's in that place where the most authentic healing and service for humanity is cultivated. How are you developing your relationship with yourself? You know? And it's easy to be loving with ourselves when we're successful, when we're doing well, but how do you speak to yourself when you are in pain? When you feel jealous, when you feel inadequate, when you feel unworthy, when you feel like you're not doing the best job in your life? How do you speak to yourself then? What are you telling yourself? Because it's in that space where we actually grow. And because this whole realm that we inhabit is built off the mastery of relationship. Okay? And we achieve mastery of relationship through learning how to master the relationship with ourselves. And we do that through learning how to speak to ourselves with the voice of love at all times, despite what it is that we are feeling or what it is that we are going through. And that doesn't mean that it has to feel good. That doesn't mean that you have to enjoy your experience or that you can't experience negative emotions. But how are you speaking to yourself when you are going through those difficult times? And so for me, in my process of developing message, it's in that space when I am in pain, when I'm going through a period of suffering, when I am feeling down and depressed, where I take that as an opportunity. Okay, what are the words that I need to tell myself in this moment? Because I understand that this moment is an opportunity for me to learn intimately how to hold space and to speak to those that are feeling the exact same way that I'm feeling right now. Because this is not just about me. This is about learning to hold space and be of service for others.
And in a way, there are no others. There's no one outside you.
Exactly.
You're always talking to yourself.
You're always speaking to yourself. Exactly. So when I get ready for talks and my writings, I take those moments as fertile ground, as a fertile opportunity to bring forth the voice of my inner angel, to speak to me and to heal me. I allow my pain to actually become medicine for others. So I invite you to do the same.
That's true unity consciousness there.
Yeah.
Yeah.